CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
CMPRadio.net. It's the station. Listen, man, let's cultivate together. Bring us all your show ideas. Content creators, we're looking for that. Videographers, we're looking for that. You can be a part of the next great big thing that takes place right here in Chester, Pennsylvania. Let's cultivate together, man.
City, big dreams. Nothing's up as big as it seems. So dream on. Small city, big dreams. Nothing's up as big as it seems. So keep going. You only get one life to live. You only get one life. You only get one life to live. You only get one life. The bird is back. You might have never heard of that. Harrisburg's finest, 717. Shout out to my birthplace. Experience life scenarios, the worst case. Homicides, broken homes, drug addiction. This is where we come from. These are our conditions.
Hey, what's going on? Good afternoon, Chester City. How we doing? How y'all doing? What's up with y'all? What's good? This is Holds the Whole podcast on CMP Radio, CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester. Cultivating mature positivity, consistently making progress, Chester-made products, changing media's perspective, change your minds powerfully, and whatever else you decide to add to the mix. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the ones who have tuned in, man. This has been a shift, right? This has been a shift. This has been a ride. This has been a journey. This is life. This is life. This is a show. This is a podcast about life, about real issues, real pain, right? Real life, deep stuff, internal healing, internal restoration. It's crazy, right? I was doing some thinking before I was coming into the show before I was coming in to do the show today, I was thinking, right, just about how, how in many ways, like myself and the show and the message, right, the message of the show is really, it's really counter-cultural, right? It's really counter-cultural. It's really contrary to popular opinion and pop culture and different things of that nature. It's really, really different. It's really different, and I'm different. And I just, and when I was thinking, now we're going to go more into that. Quiet strength. That's the day's topic, quiet strength. And I'm going to go more into that as the show progresses on here for today. But, I was thinking just how powerful that was, right? I mean, it's so powerful to me that, like that I and the message and the show, the podcast is just so, it stands out, right? It stands out and it's different and it's kind of like, it's uncomfortable. It's, it's like, and that's a powerful thing, right? It's like, man, why do I want to bring a message that's just like everybody else? I don't want to. So it's a blessing, it's just a blessing just to know that, to understand that, to see that, man, that's a major blessing. But anyway, welcome back once again. This is Holes to Hole. I'm your host, Born Leader, man. Man, this has been such a ride, such a blessing, such a journey, like I said, and we just gonna keep pushing. We're gonna keep pushing, and we're gonna keep adding value to you, to the ones who tune in, to the ones who haven't yet tuned in, to the ones that may tune in sometime in the future. You know what I mean? Whether something is laid on your heart or somebody spreads it word of mouth or whatever the case may be, it truly doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Which way you hear it or what happens, whether it's from me, somebody else, or you just stumble across it one day, or you may be going through something where, I don't know, somebody else says something, but whatever it is, man, it's just a blessing, and it's good. It's good for us to be here. So last show was about Processed Stout. And, so we talked about just how all of life is really, all of life's issues and circumstances and problems and pain, right, is really just, it's like once you experience different things, there's lessons that come from it, negative lessons and positive lessons that come from different, just life experiences and pain and hurt and life situations. So, that's number one, right? Is lessons that come from pain, negative and positive. And now, a lot of times we run off or are influenced or are led by the negative lessons that come from it. And then we'll kind of carry it on throughout our lives until something happens, until somebody comes along, or you just come to some kind of discovery or realization of the positive in it. But that comes later on. It's kind of like once it happens, initially, you just kind of run off the negative lessons of whatever life experiences. So anyway, talking about last week and about Processed Stout, I was telling a story about how when I was working at SEPTA not too long ago, and just how my training instructor really like trained me and groomed me, and how we had gotten into like a couple different altercations and like little spats back and forth between him and I, and I just didn't like the way he would talk to me and sometimes, and didn't like the way he would come across sometimes. And it's funny because I mentioned last week that it was a critical time of my life though too. Like that time when I began working there and when I met my training instructor there, it was a really critical time in my life. It was a time of transition, right? We all know and understand that when you transition, whatever that means, right? Whatever that means, whether it's, one job to the next or one location to a next, one city to the next, or career transition or change. It's like that's a critical juncture. That's a critical time in one's life, to change kind of different things like that. So it was a critical juncture in my life when I came in contact with this person, with my trainer there. And it was critical because I was, like I said, I was I was maturing in different ways, but then it was a lot of ways where I still needed maturing. And, so that's what I mean by critical too. It's possible to be like growing in different dimensions, right? Like growing in different realms of yourself, dimensions of yourself, but still need a lot of help in others, right? It's like, listen, we're not perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. We're all being perfected. We're all being prepared. And there's so many different dimensions to us, right? And so at this particular time, I was maturing and I was kind of growing in different realms and different dimensions of myself, right? I was kind of, I was maturing in this area, growing in this area. I was evolving maybe in that area. But then in other areas, it was like, man, it still needed a lot of cultivating, right? And a lot of just refining and fine tuning and learning and growing. And anyway, so when I met this guy, you know what I'm saying? We met at this time and it's crazy. It's crazy because looking back on it, right? In retrospect, I see all the different ways, that our interaction, our altercations, our friction, right, our conflict, our back and forths, our meeting, the training, like, I see just all the different ways. It's like, something that I want you guys to really understand on here is that, and I said it, maybe like two episodes ago, I had mentioned this, but I said just how different things are very strategic, right? Life is very strategic. Like it's very, it's just very it's carefully planned and plotted out. You may not be privy to that, right? The individual, you or I, may not be privy to how strategic different things are set up and destined and planned and coordinated in life. So even looking back at that situation with my, at that time and how critical it was, and it just so happened that I transitioned from this job to this type of job, and I met this type of person, and excuse me. Woo, I'm good. And I met this type of person. Excuse me, let me get some water. Sorry, y'all. All right. Sometimes you gotta stop and reset. Life is very strategic, like I said. And so looking back, like I said, on this critical time, it was really critical for me to transition from this type of job to that type of job, to meeting this type of person, this type of trainer, having these type of altercations with my trainer, back at the time at this job that I'm referring to. So when I look back at that, it was very, very strategized, just how, life is very strategized. It's not, you think and we think it's just happenstance, or we kind of just float through life and it ain't really, no order. It's like, that's the furthest thing from the truth. It's like life is so ordered, and it's so, it's carefully planned out. Right. So anyway, but, so at this previous job and talking about this instructor, it was kind of just like, we got into it, like I said on last episode, but it was exactly what I needed, right? It was exactly what I needed. And by it being exactly what I needed, and me kind of going through that situation with him, it processed out what shouldn't have been there. And which is that's the will, that's the will of the Lord for your life. That's the will of the Lord for your life. It's to gradually, things have crept in, seeped in you that's not supposed to be there. And then you go through things to process it out of you. And so that's like the strategy and purpose of the Lord. But anyway, quiet strength. Let's dive into that real quick. Let's have a word of prayer. We're going to dive into quiet strength and be out. Daddy God, I thank you for love, life, light, health, strength, wisdom, purpose, destiny, calling. I thank you for taking me out of bondage and out of darkness and translating me into the kingdom of light, to the kingdom of your dear Son. I thank you for everything, past, present, and future. Continue to bless this podcast and the people that hear it and tune in. Have your way, have your way, have your way. Continue to refine, purify, and lead us into all truth as we know that you do. Lord, we thank you and bless you and praise you for everything, for your grace and for your mercy, for your protection, for your leadership, for your guidance, for your purpose and plan. And continue just to bless me and just lead me and guide me and speak to me what you would have for me to speak to them, to the people who listen at this time. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. So anyway, quiet strength. I was doing some thinking this morning before coming in. I think I was going to go another way with the podcast, but then it just kind of went this way. But I was thinking, right? I was thinking how I'm like very different and countercultural and different things of that nature, like very much so. And basically the message of the show is very like, I don't know. The message of the show is different. It's contrary. It's counter to the culture. It's, if everybody else is doing this and focused on this and talking about this and moving like this, I'm moving a totally different way. I'm over here with it, right? So, you know what I mean? So it's like a vast majority of people is over here focused on this, doing this, moving, boom, boom, boom. I'm over here with it. And that's pretty much who I am and and the message of the podcast. But so anyway, I'm doing some thinking and I'm like, man, I was thinking about like when the last time that I tuned into like the news or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, whether it was just like local news, state, world news. I'm like, yo, I don't even like, I was thinking, right? I'm thinking like, yo, I don't really know what's going on. I don't even be tuned into like, like the news or different like media outlets or social media even. It's like, what do people, I'm like, I ain't even on it. And so like when I was kind of just considering it, I'm like, I'm really not in the know. Like if you were to ask me like, what is going on in the world? What is going on in the news? What's the latest or whatever? I'm like, yo, I'm out of that realm, right? Like I'm out of that dimension. I'm out of that realm. I don't know. Like, I don't know. And so anyway, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, man, I said, man, that's powerful. Like, it's powerful because most people kind of think or kind of live their life just, like everybody else, right? Like most people trying to live their life and trying to always be in the know, like be in the know or wanting to know what's going on or just, being front and center or like the center of attention or want to be where it's lit or want to be where people is at. And it's like, so that's kind of how like the worldview, so to speak, is, most people just be on that, but it's like, yo, I don't want to be in the know. And so anyway, when I was thinking about this, I kind of began to ask myself why. I'm like, man, why is it really like that? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm I'm like talking to myself and I'm asking myself, I'm like, why is it like that? And then I begin to think about it from this angle and from this dimension and from this aspect. And I begin to think about it like, I used to really be kind of like into that. You know what I mean? I used to really be into just like wanting to know different things, or wanting to know what was going on, or like what the latest this was saying. So that's kind of how I used to be in some respects. Like that was me before, wanting to be in the know, wanting to know what was going on, wanting to be out there, wanting to kind of just whatever, I really wanted to see what this person was doing and what this person was posting and how this person was living. Like that used to be me. That was something that I was caught up in. I was caught up, right? I was caught up in media and wanting to know different things. That used to be me, right? But then, when you experience and when you kind of see, when you go through something real, right? When you go through something real, and I mean real, like real to the point where, like, when you go through something real, like, where it almost takes you out, right? You know what I'm saying? Like when you really go through something real, you really, it's like that teaches you something. And anyway, so me kind of used to being that type of person, it's like, I know what comes with that, right? I know what comes with always just wanting to, check this and check that and know what's going on and be. I know what comes with that. And for me, and, I've said it on previous episodes of the podcast and different things, how I really was overcome by a lot of, anxiety and a lot of, depression and dealing with a lot of mental unhealthiness and different things. So it's kind of like, so now the Lord has made me to be the kind of person, right? That's like, because I used to be like that, that was the old me. Right. That was the false me. That was the one who was led by a lot of holes in them and just a lot of different things. And just think about it like this. For somebody, right? For somebody to be concerned about everything that's going on, like outside of them, right? Just think about this for a second. For somebody to be concerned about what's going on, or, trying to be in the know about everything, or just trying to be concerned about everything. See, we as people, it's like we continually think that we're strong enough, to move, to do different things. Like, why do we as humans? Well, I know why. It's just human nature, right? It's human nature to think that, it's human nature to think that you have enough strength to be able to be out here doing this, doing that, moving around, being in this, doing that. Like, it's human nature to think that, you know what I mean? I can do this and that, right? This is not going to affect this. This is not going to mess this up. I can do this, and I can be over here, and I can be over there, and I can be moving around, and I can be in the know with this, and I can be involved in that. I can do it, right? And so that's just human nature, right? It's human nature, but it's a false nature. Like it's the nature for somebody to think like that. That's somebody who's still dealing with a lot of different holes. Why do you want to be in the know? Why do you want to be Why are you trying to move around so much? Why are you trying to, look at what he or she's doing? Why? You know what I mean? That's evidence for me. That's evidence of somebody who's like somebody that always wants to be out there in the know. It's like, yo, that's a weak person. That's a weak person. Why you can't just, come on now. We talking about quiet strength. That's a weak person. Why can't you just be settled? Be settled and be content with what you're doing, your health, your mind, taking care of yourself, your immediate. Why you gotta be out everywhere wondering what he or she and everybody's doing, and you want to be where it's lit, and you want to be, why? For what? What's the benefit? What the network? What to build up? Is that what it is? But it's like, but if you're always doing that and not taking care of what you need to take care of, then I believe it's a priority issue. Which is, with somebody having somebody's priorities not being aligned, that's evidence of something within not being right. Right? Or just needing some development, right? Needing some work. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we kind of say a lot of times it's like, okay, well, we try to always like put it out where it's either good or bad. But sometimes it's not that it's good or bad. Sometimes it's somebody could be where they just need some work, right? It's not that they're bad. It's not that the person is evil. It's just the person just needs some development in that specific realm. In that specific area. Like you can be somebody that's now hold on. Cause this thought just came to me, right? This thought just came to me just now. I just wanted to say this. Be careful with what you're good at, right? Like be careful, like with your gifts or talents or unique abilities, the thing that, make up you, the things that be careful with talent, gifts, and unique abilities, because I'm telling you, it's like, say, for an example, say you're a giving person, right? Like, say you're just a giver, you like to give and you just like to share and you like to just, I don't know, you like to just, share whatever you have and be a giver. Okay, that's a great trait. That's a great quality, right? That's a great gift to be a giver. But you cannot have wisdom in that gift. Ah, man. It's possible to be talented or to have a gift or a talent, but not be wise in how you use it or distribute it. So let's just say you're a giver, right? You're a giver. People know you for giving. This person, boy, I'm telling you, man, Shanika, she got a heart of gold. She will give you the shirt off her back. Yes, I love that. But if you don't got no wisdom and discernment and how you distribute that, you can be casting your pearls before swine, giving to any and everybody. Give it to any and everybody with no wisdom or thought of, you know what? I give to a lot of people. What do I give to myself? Oh, man. If you're a giver and you give to a lot of people, that's a great trait. But what do you give to yourself? Do you give yourself time? Do you spend time with yourself? Do you invest in yourself? Do you distribute? You see, it's very important to know and understand that when you've been blessed with a gift or a talent, whatever that might be, it's many gifts and talents and traits and different things of that nature. But I believe and know, not I believe, I know this, excuse me. I don't believe this, I know this. a lot of different things that we go through in life is really because we don't know, we don't have the wisdom to use our gifts. We misappropriate or use our giftings the wrong way. We might give a little bit much to this person or to this situation. We might give a little bit too much time over here. And really it's just and really what it is, you know why? You know why? Because gifts, be careful with gifts. Be careful with unique traits. Be careful with that, because your curse is right there. Right? Like your curse is right there. You could be a giver and give to so many people, but if you don't have wisdom and discernment to know when to pull back, see, you gotta have quiet strength. You gotta have the wisdom and to know to pull back. Yes, I'm a giver. There's nothing wrong with that trait, but does that mean that you give so much to everybody else that you don't give anything to yourself? Be careful, because your gift can be your curse. That's what I'm basically saying. My goodness. Your gift could be your curse. Very easily, too. Very easily. Your gift could be your curse. Matter of fact, let me not even say could be. It's like anywhere there's a gift or a talent, there's the potential. This is good. Anywhere there's a gift or talent, right? There's the potential to fall, right? There's the potential for the curse to be. The curse is right there. It's like it's right next to it. You know what I mean? So you gotta know. But anyway, so I'm talking about quiet strength. I'm talking about, having unique, being different, right? Being different, having, unique talents and traits, but knowing how to use them the proper way. And I started off by saying that, how I'm so different and how the message of this podcast is so different and how everybody is focused, like the worldview or this generation is so focused on the, wanting to be in the know and wanting to be where it's lit and wanting to know what everybody else is doing, but not concerned, right? Giving all this attention to everybody else, but not giving attention to you, what's going on inside, the health of your own mind, the peace of your own. We not on that. But that's the message of so basically, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to, with this message and with this podcast, I want to actually redirect, right? That's one of the goals. Right. That's one of the goals to my message. That's one of the goals to, just what I preach and what I teach and what I bring out. I really want to redirect your focus and your mind back to what truly matters. Well, born leader, what truly matters? What does matter after all? Oh, man, what matters? What does matter? That's an interesting question. So also, let me bring out this point though too, because I thought about this point that I want to bring out. I was thinking about, how we react or respond to different things, right? And I'm trying to actually take kind of like two different ideas and kind of combine them, so to speak. But I was thinking about how we react to different things. And how we just, wait, hold on. I said, cause I wrote this note down here. I'm just checking my notes. I said, there's a lot of external factors which result in internal strife, right? There's a lot of external factors. So back to my point where I was just talking about, the kind of person that I used to be was just this person that always was concerned about others and what they were posting and what they were doing and how they were looking and what's going on in their lives and everything, right? So that was how I used to be. But that was just me. That was me being concerned with the external, right? That was me being concerned or focused on the external factors, right? So everything that I was focused on, it was outside of, it was outside of me, right? So what I was saying was a part of the goal of the podcast and my message is to redirect or kind of like redirect your attention back on where it needs to be, because we're so focused on external factors. Why are we so focused on external factors? Right? What's going on over here? What they doing over there? Oh, let me check. Why are we so concerned about others and the exterior? That's what this generation is so focused on, the exterior, looking good, right? Posting, making sure you looking right. Everything is all about the external. It's you know what I mean? The exterior. And I made another note. I said, but you know what being overly concerned with the external, what the exterior is? Like, for you to be overly concerned or just worried about or thinking about the external, that's lust. That's lust. Think about what lust is, right? Lust is just you not knowing anything internally or anything about anybody's life, personal. I don't care about that. I like the way she looked on the outside and I want it. That's all it is, right? And so it's lust. So I wonder, is this just a generation that just lust? Right? This is a generation that is just concerned with the outside, but that's lust. Lust is concerned with the outside. I don't care about what she's been through. I don't care about what's going on in her mind. I don't care where her heart is. I don't care what kind of goals she got. I just care about what I see. So you respond, or you just worried about what you see. Oh, you're worried about the exterior. Oh, okay. That's going to take you far. But yet this is who we are. This is a generation that we live in. We just concerned about, it's like, listen, it's like we jump on our phones and we scroll and we look and we just have a desire just to look and to see. And then we look and see, and then we're moved by that, and we're influenced by that. You know what I'm saying? But it's external. It's temporary stuff. It's stuff that's going to get old. It's stuff that's not going to be around. And what this is, who I am, what this podcast is, what I'm here to do is redirect. I want to shift, and I want to sift, and I want to redirect your mind or your attention internally within. That's the only way. That's the only way. Well-born leader, how do you get to wholeness? Maybe you should redirect your attention back to what truly matters and stop being concerned about what you see in the outside. Maybe that's one way to do it. It's just my what I'm saying, right? There's a lot of external factors which result in internal strife and distress, being so concerned with the external. Now this point that I want to bring out too, because now normally when I come on here, I really don't have like notes and stuff like that. But this kind of came to me at somewhat the last minute. So I just jotted down some notes and some stuff that I wanted to remember. But I put
I'm strong to where I put this right. I said, I'm strong to where if I did include myself in the noise or in the know or, focusing on the exterior, wondering, wanting to be in the know. I said, I'm strong to where if I did include myself in the noise, because let's just face it, right? A lot of these external factors that we be all in on and thinking about and worried about is just noise, right? It's just noise. They're really just distractions. Like, it's noise. So, but I'll put this now. This is where we kind of dive into more of the quiet strength, and then we gonna dive into that. And my time is almost short. We're gonna dive into that, and then we going conclude. But this is where I just want to really dive into more of the meaning of the topic, and then that's it. But I was saying this. I said I'm strong to where if I included myself in the noise, in the know, being concerned with all these external factors, I said I wouldn't be affected. I said I probably wouldn't be affected, right? So listen, the kind of person that I am, I'm not somebody who's concerned with what's going on, like pop culture, opinion, news. I really don't get into that. That's really not my thing. But so the point I'm trying to make is, so the point that I'm making is that's not my thing. That's not who I am. That's not what I do. I'm not concerned with that. That's not my concern. That's not my priority. That's not my thing. So, but then I said, if I did, now mind you, I said these are distractions, but then I said it probably wouldn't affect me just because of knowing what they are, right? Knowing that they're distractions, knowing who I am, knowing what my goals are. I said, if I did focus on these things, I said, I probably wouldn't be distracted, or I probably wouldn't be affected. I probably wouldn't be influenced because I'm strong, because I'm stronger now, right? I'm stronger now. I'm more mentally stronger. I'm emotionally stronger, right? So I know how to use wisdom to kind of, sidestep some things. And you see, it's possible, right? It's possible to be, now this is good right here. It's possible to be in the noise, but not affected. Oh, man. It's possible to be in the know and in the noise, but not have you ever been in the noise or be where it's chaos? Have you ever been in a chaotic environment, but you're at peace and not affected? You see, it's possible to be in the noise. It's possible for me to look at these factors, external factors, and be in the know and look at, meaning I can look at the local news and know what's going on and not be affected because it's really, you know what I mean? Because it's not really my thing. I can check it out. I can hear somebody can tell me something. Okay. I'm totally not affected. But there's a lot of people that get affected, that get influenced by what they hear, by what they see. We just talked about that just with lust. Lust is, do you know it? Oh man, this is good. Lust is just being influenced. Lust is being influenced or affected by what you see. That's all it is. Oh man. Lust is being affected, influenced, moved by what you see. That's all it is. And now, let me just share this with you. Lust can be strong too. Oh man, lust can be strong, and a lot of people, you know what I mean, can't just turn that off. We human, right? We just said nobody's perfect. You can't, stop going through life all prideful like you can't be affected by nothing. See, and that's one of the goals of the podcast. Why do you always think that you're not going to be this ain't going to happen to me. I'm good. I'm too strong for that. Yeah, okay, we're going to see about that. That ain't going to happen to me. See, that's the problem. That's the problem with the young, right? That's the problem with the youth. I can go out here and I can go to the streets and I can do this and I'm not going to be affected. That's not going to happen to me. I'm above that. We going to see about that. Oh, man. We going to see about that. But anyway, so my time is short. But anyway, so fast forward. The new me, I'm stronger now. I could be in the noise. I could be around lust and not be affected by lust. I'm stronger now. I've been through some things. I'm strong. But now my final point that I want to say is just because now, this is quiet strength. This is true strength, right? This is quiet strength, true wisdom. My final point is just because I'm strong or I'm stronger to be in the noise without being affected. That don't mean just because I'm strong that I put myself in the environment for it to happen. You see, I wonder how many times people think they strong enough, and then when they get into stuff, they realize they ain't that strong. But now, what do we call that, right? Oh my goodness, this is good. What do we call somebody? What do we call it when somebody thinks or believes that they're strong enough to be in chaos, or they're strong enough to be around lust, or they're strong enough to be in the noise and not be affected. But then once they get in, they're affected. What do we call that? We call that foolishness. But true wisdom is somebody who's strong enough to be in something, but don't put themselves there anyway. Why? Because it's not my concern. If I was concerned enough to be in something, I could be in the noise and not be affected, but that's not wisdom. That's not the point. The point of quiet strength and true strength is just because I have the capacity to be, oh my goodness, just because I have the capacity or the strength to be in another dimension, to be in a lower dimension. You see, and let me be careful with this, but I'm trying to make a point here because my time is almost up. But listen, you can be in a higher realm, a higher dimension. That means you strong. So, you know what I mean? So somebody strong can go into a lower dimension. But at the same time, it doesn't mean just because that dimension won't affect you, it don't mean that you should put yourself in it. Now, if If you've been put in it, then that's something different. But we're talking about you putting yourself in the mix. You putting yourself in harm's way. You putting yourself around lust. You putting listen, nobody told you to do it. It's different when you've been led there and when you've been put there and when you've been destined there. That's a difference. But when you put yourself in harm's way just because you think you can stand it, now that's foolishness. It's not quiet strength. Quiet strength is knowing that you're strong enough to operate in an environment or in a realm, right? Knowing that you're strong enough, but just not putting yourself in harm's way. It's not putting, this is the example of somebody who has really been through something, right? I mean, how many people have, you see, just because you might be from a certain area and just because you might have been through some things, that don't mean you've been through some things that almost took you out. I mean, listen, somebody who really been through something, they almost been took out. Listen, I was almost taken out. See, that's a different level of going through something. And what I find is, see, most people now this doesn't apply. I'm not trying to like generalize this. I mean, I know people have been through a lot. We all have been through a lot. But I'm saying when you've been through something that almost took you out, you walk a little different. You talk different, right? It's different, a different level. So anyway, man, another edition of Holes to Hole. Thank you for tuning in. For the ones who did, for the ones who have in the past, man, we love you. We love you. I love you. I appreciate you, man. Such a blessing, such a journey. Such a blessing just to be on here and talk and share and vibe out, man, and just give off good, positive energy. We love you. I appreciate you. This is Born Leader, Holds the Whole podcast. Chester City, what it is, what it do.
Small city, big dreams, big dreams. Nothing's ever as big as it seems. So dream on. Small city, big dreams.